Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Wednesday, May the 12th. We got a little 6-game slate for Wednesday, a little bit of a shorter slate than we had on Tuesday. Had a big, 11-gamer on Tuesday. We're back to just 6 games for today, but this should still be a pretty exciting slate. Definitely going to be some injury news to keep an eye on throughout the day today. Always, when you get late in the season like this, there's going to be guys that get rested, especially today because some of the teams are on back-to-backs. Brooklyn, Cleveland. I think there's another team on a back-to-back, the Lakers. So, we'll have to keep an eye on injuries there. Kyrie Irving did get injured in Tuesday's game, was not able to return, so there's a chance he could maybe be out today. Kemba Walker got injured in Tuesday's game. He was able to play through his injury, but on a back-to-back, maybe they rest Kemba here. He's been a guy that's, rested a lot on back-to-backs this year, so we're going to need to watch the injuries there. But as always, guys, I'll give you kind of my early thoughts. What does stand out to me looking at the slate on Tuesday night, just, what stands out the night before. But before we get started with the breakdown, as always, I would appreciate it if you would click that like button down below, and if you are new to the channel here, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well. Also click the notification bell so that way you do get notified every time I upload, and you also do get notified every time I live stream. Once again, I should be live Wednesday afternoon around 4:30 Eastern time. If you guys do want to come and hang out, we'll talk through the slate once again. If any news comes out during the day, we can always hit on that in the live stream. So be sure to tune into the live stream Wednesday afternoon. Hit the like button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Check out my Patreon content, link down below in the description as well. If you do really enjoy my YouTube videos, you like the content that I put out on YouTube, and you want to see more that I have to offer, I do have additional stuff on Patreon that you can check out if that is something that does interest you. But we'll go ahead and take a look at the Wizards and Hawks game. So on the Wizards side today, Russell Westbrook finally priced up to a pretty hefty price point on DraftKings. They did do a good job. They actually priced him up for once. He is $12,400 today. He is a lot more expensive than some of the other studs on the slate. He's $1,600 more than Luka. He's $2,000 more than AD. He's $2,400 more than Kevin Durant. I don't think Westbrook's just like an auto play now that he's this price point. At this price tag, you're going to need Westbrook to put up one of those 75, 80-point games. Obviously, he can do that. We've seen Westbrook go for 80 in back-to-back games. Clearly without Bradley Beal, the upside is massive for Russell Westbrook. He's playing massive minutes every night. He's going to play, nearly 40 minutes if this is a close game. I still like Westbrook. It's just a little bit tougher to get him in right now. We'll have to wait and see what kind of value we get as the day goes on. If we do get a lot of value, then Westbrook is going to be someone that I do try and pay up for. But at $12,400, I don't think he's just like an auto click into your lineup at this price. There's some decisions to be made. Do you try and jam in Westbrook? Is he worth the $12,400 salary? For me, it's just a wait and see. If we don't get much value, I don't think I'm going to try and jam in Westbrook. But if we do get a lot of value and it's easy to get him in, he will definitely be one of the first studs I do try and fit into my lineup. On Yahoo, though, it's a lot easier to play Westbrook there. He's $60. He is pretty expensive on Yahoo as well, but the pricing on Yahoo is just so much softer than DK. We can definitely get Westbrook in there. So I definitely like Westbrook on Yahoo, and I like him on DK as well, just not as much of a priority given how much they priced him up. But outside of Westbrook on Atlanta, Rui Hachimura, I liked him a lot last game against Atlanta in the same matchup. Without Bradley Beal, there is more usage available for Rui. We've seen Rui have really good games in the past whenever Beal has missed. He didn't have that great of a game, only had 25 DraftKings points. He only played 28 minutes, which is really surprising. Rui's a guy that consistently plays like 35, 36 minutes a night, especially when Beal's out. Like, he's been their number 2 scorer behind Westbrook whenever Beal's off the floor. I assume we're going to get back to like 34, 35 minutes from Rui here. I'd be very surprised if he plays like 28 minutes again. So I definitely like him at 5,300. He took 19 shots last game, which is good to see. The shot volume is there. He could have had a little bit of a better shooting game and maybe went for more DK points. He only had 3 rebounds, which is pretty low for Rui. He is a pretty good rebounder. He's a guy that can get 6, 7, 8 boards. So I do like going back to Rui, even though he kind of disappointed last slate. At 5,300, he does still feel a little bit underpriced on DK. I don't think he's going to be that popular either. He was a little bit lower owned than I expected he was going to be last slate, and given that he had like a mediocre game, I don't see a ton of people playing Rui today. So I still do like Rui quite a bit. Him and Westbrook are my 2 favorite plays from Washington. Outside of those 2 guys, I think you can look to some of these other secondary plays from the Wizards for GPPs, like Raul Neto. He played 31 minutes last game. He wasn't very productive, but the minutes were there. He's an okay option. I don't really love him, but he's an okay option. Davis Bertans off the bench would probably be my favorite guy to go to outside of Westbrook and Rui. He played 31 minutes off the bench, had 25 DK points. We know Bertans is super scoring dependent, but without Bradley Beal, there's going to be more opportunities to score for a guy like Bertans. And Ish Smith, another guy off the bench you can maybe go to. He played 23 minutes, was really productive, had 27 DK points. Bertans, Smith, Neto, I'm not confident in really any of these guys, but they are viable, at least with Beal out, I should say. Westbrook and Rui, though, are the two guys that really stand out from Washington. Now, on the Atlanta side here, looking at the Hawks, I do like some of these Hawks guys today, especially Trae Young. I think Trae Young, he was a little bit underpriced last slate. He was only 9,300 in the same matchup, went for 54 DK points. His price went down on DraftKings. He's only 9,100 today. This is a great matchup. Obviously, the Wizards do play at a pretty fast pace. They're, not the best defensive team. It's a big-time pace-up spot for the Hawks here. I think Trae's underpriced. At 9,100, he's one of my favorite studs right now. I like the discount you get dropping down from him to, from Westbrook to him. Not saying that Trae Young's going to outscore Westbrook, but he can maybe put up, 60, and if Westbrook goes for 70, I would definitely rather have Trae Young given the savings. So I do like Trae Young as a pay-up option today. I like him on Yahoo as well at $40. If I can fit him and Westbrook together, that is something I'm for sure going to be looking to do today. I would say Trae's my favorite play from Atlanta. Clint Capella, he was on a stretch of just terrible games after terrible game. He was playing so poorly, had 9 straight games, less than 40 fantasy points, but he finally bounced back last game in the same matchup against the Wizards. Played 35 minutes, had 48 DraftKings points, had 10 points, 22 rebounds, 1 assist, and 4 blocks. We know Capella has this kind of upside. The matchup's really good. The price tag's kind of up there at 8,600, but I do think Capella is still a viable option. On Yahoo, if you can pay up at center, I think at $34, he's one of my favorite centers on Yahoo if you can fit him in. But outside of Trae and Capella, I don't know if I'm going to go to anyone else on Atlanta. John Collins had a really good game last game in the same matchup, but John Collins is just a guy that's so tough to trust right now. You just never know what you're going to get from him. He's played well in back-to-back games, but I don't think I'm going to go to John Collins on this slate. He's been a guy that's burned me a ton this year. Whenever I play him, he just sucks. I didn't play him last slate. I'm probably not going to play him today, so he's probably going to have another good game just to troll me. But I think my two favorite plays from Atlanta are definitely Trae Young, Clint Capella, maybe John Collins, but Young and Capella are the two guys I like most. Kevin Huerter, he is currently probable, so he's expected to play. I thought he was questionable, but he's probable. So, yeah, that probably does it for Atlanta. We can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about San Antonio and Brooklyn. So, on San Antonio today, good matchup here for these Spurs guys. I don't know if anyone from San Antonio really looks like a core option for me, but DeRozan, Dejounte Murray, I think in tournaments make plenty of sense. Small forward's always a pretty gross position, so if you want to pair for DeRozan at 8K, I don't mind that. The matchup's good. We know DeRozan has upside. He's another guy that's really tough to trust. You just never know what you're going to get from DeRozan. But he does have 45, 50-point upside in a good matchup like this. Dejounte Murray at 7,100, I probably would rather have over DeRozan. Only thing that makes me like DeRozan a little bit more would just be given the position. Like I said, small forward is just always tougher to fill than point guard is. Point guard, you always have a ton of options, whereas small forward is not nearly the same. But Dejounte Murray in a good matchup against Brooklyn definitely has upside. Him and DeRozan as low-owned tournament plays I think are fine, but really no standout options from San Antonio for me. It would be DeRozan and Murray, and that's probably it from this team. Now on the Brooklyn side, we're going to need to watch the status of Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie Irving did get injured in Tuesday's game. He got hit in the face by an inadvertent elbow is what it says here. He did not return. There's maybe a chance he has a concussion. I don't really know, but definitely keep an eye on this. This is a back-to-back for the Nets. There is a possibility that Kyrie does not play today. There's also a possibility that maybe Kevin Durant doesn't play, given the back-to-back. I would assume he plays, but we've seen them rest Durant on back-to-backs, at times this season. And then Harden, I think Harden's going to return at some point, but they've already ruled him out for Tuesday, so we're not going to have Harden. We may not have Kyrie. I'd assume Durant plays, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. Assuming Durant does play, though, at 9,800, even if Kyrie plays, I think Durant's a really good pay-up option. If Kyrie's out, Durant becomes probably my favorite pay-up option on the slate. I would definitely put Durant over Westbrook. Even given how good Westbrook's been lately, if Kyrie's out, Durant's going to be the guy that I want to try and pay up for. He would definitely be underpriced at 9,800, but even if Kyrie's in, we've seen, the upside's still there for Kevin Durant. He's playing a ton of minutes. He's playing nearly 40 minutes a night. We know he's a guy that has a ton of upside. Without James Harden, the usage on this team is going to be dominated by Kyrie and KD. So I do like Kevin Durant a lot at 9,800 on DK. I think you can play him on Yahoo as well. It's just, we already have Westbrook in there. We already have Trae Young. I don't want to put KD in there too because then we just, don't have much salary left. But I do like KD at $46 on Yahoo. Obviously, if Kyrie gets ruled out, then Durant will become a priority for me on both sides. But that's just news that we don't have right now. If Kyrie plays, I think he's a fine option too. I would rather play Trae Young over Kyrie, I think, just between the two. But Kyrie definitely viable at 9,200 if he plays today. Outside of that, though, I don't think I'm going to any secondary pieces from Brooklyn unless if Kyrie plays. Now, if Kyrie gets ruled out, I think a guy like Bruce Brown for 3,900 would make for a really good value play. He is having a really good game right now on Tuesday night as I'm recording this video. Obviously, if Kyrie were to sit, that would definitely benefit someone like Bruce Brown. He'd be getting more minutes. Bruce Brown's been relatively productive when he does get minutes this season. He is small forward eligible on Draftkings, which makes him super appealing. As I said earlier, small forward's always a tougher position to fill. So if we do get Kyrie out, that's obviously a massive boost for Kevin Durant, and I think that would make a guy like Bruce Brown a really good value play. Jeff Green you can maybe consider as well if Kyrie sits, but we don't have that news right now, so I don't want to talk too much about these Brooklyn guys. For me, KD's my favorite play. Kyrie's viable too. If Kyrie's in, then that's probably it for me on Brooklyn. But yeah, we can go ahead and move on to the next game, talk about Boston and Cleveland. So on Boston today, this is going to be another team to keep an eye on when it comes to injuries. Jaylen Brown's already been ruled out for the season. Kemba Walker, like I said, got injured in Tuesday's game. He was able to return. He played through the injury. But this is a back-to-back. Kemba's been known to rest on back-to-back, so there is a possibility that Kemba does not play today. If Kemba's not playing, if he gets ruled out, I think that's huge for Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum would look like a really good option at 9,400. Already no Jaylen Brown, and maybe the chance that Kemba does not play. Tatum's going to become a really good pay-up option as well. Now, Kevin Durant versus Jason Tatum, between those two, I think I would still prefer Kevin Durant if Kyrie's out. If Kyrie plays and Kemba's out, then I might give the edge to Tatum over Durant. There's a lot of good pay-up options today for it to be a 6-game slate. Tatum's definitely on my radar, though. Kemba, if he plays, I think is viable. He did have a really good game Tuesday, was able to play through that injury. Without Jaylen Brown right now, Kemba definitely benefits. I don't think he's like a top play for me, but it is a guy that I would be considering in tournaments for low ownership if he's in. If he's out, Marcus Smart's viable at 6,100. Evan Fournier, though, even if Kemba's out, it doesn't really matter. Fournier's been playing so well lately. He's definitely benefits without Jaylen Brown. We've seen him starting, playing big minutes. He had another really good game on Tuesday against Miami. Played 35 minutes in their game Sunday. I'm pretty sure he played like 35 minutes again on Tuesday night. He's been playing really well lately, been shooting the ball better. Fournier's a guy that is always a little bit riskier to roster just because he is pretty scoring dependent, but it's clear the opportunity is there for him right now. He's taking a ton of shots. He's playing a ton of minutes. He feels underpriced in my opinion, only 5,500 on DK. I do like Fournier a lot from this Boston team, and I like him a lot on Yahoo as well. Still feels a little bit too cheap over there, $18. I think Yahoo has updated the game log. So, yeah, Fournier played 36 minutes Tuesday against Miami, had 44 fantasy points, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 8 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. He's just been playing really well lately. The minutes have been through the roof. While Jaylen Brown remains out, I think the minutes are going to continue to be through the roof for Evan Fournier. And if Kemba were to sit, that would just make me like Fournier even more. And then I will mention that if Kemba is out, I think we could look to a guy like Peyton Pritchard for value. He's only 3,100, super cheap. Without potentially Kemba, without Jaylen Brown, there would definitely be more opportunity, more minutes available for Peyton Pritchard. He would be someone to consider for value at 3,100. But for now, I'm going to assume Kemba plays. Just keep an eye on it, though. There is definitely a possibility he does not play here given the back-to-back. But on the Cleveland side, Cleveland was a very appealing team on the last slate. I believe that was Monday. They were super short-handed on Monday. Well, today, it's not looking like that. They're going to have Kevin Love back. Cedi Osman's questionable. He can maybe return today. With Kevin Love back, with Cedi Osman maybe playing, I don't see too much I like on Cleveland. They only had 9 healthy bodies last game, and they only actually played 8 guys. Anderson Varejao didn't even play last game. Even though they only had 9 bodies, they just elected not to play Varejao. They'll have Kevin Love back today, though. They'll maybe have Osman back. With Cleveland getting some guys back today, I don't really see any standout plays from this Cavs team. Dean Wade was a really popular value play last slate. He was super cheap, 3,400, played 38 minutes, had 45 DK points. With Kevin Love back, there's a good possibility that Dean Wade goes back to the bench and probably doesn't get nearly as many minutes, probably only plays like 25 to 30 minutes. At 4K, he would at least still be viable, but, not nearly as good of a value as he was on the last slate. And that kind of, says for same thing goes for Damian Dotson. I'd assume he probably will move back to the bench if Cedi Osman plays. If Cedi Osman plays, they're probably going to start Sexton, Okoro, Osman, Love, and Allen. So I'm not really going to be on anyone from Cleveland if Osman plays. Now, if Osman sits, maybe Dean Wade will start again, and at 4K he could be an okay value, but I wouldn't expect nearly the same production that he had last game. Clearly, with Kevin Love out there, with Cedi Osman out there, if he plays, the production for Dean Wade is not going to be nearly as good. He's not going to play as many minutes either. So really just Cleveland, just not that appealing of a team on this slate, I don't think. So next game, we'll talk about New Orleans and Dallas. On New Orleans, we know Zion's going to remain out. Brandon Ingram is doubtful for today, so he's not expected to play either. So expect to have no Zion, no Ingram. Without these two guys, I mean, we've seen who benefits. Lonzo Ball, he hasn't really been that good these last few games without Zion and Ingram, but I still do have interest in Lonzo. He's going to be super low owned. He's been low owned these last few slates. He's been terrible, but we know the upside's there for Lonzo. He's a guy that can put up a triple-double any night. Still do have some interest in him in tournaments for low ownership. Nickeil Alexander-Walker's been playing pretty well in only limited minutes. 21 and 24 minutes, 24 and 32 DK points. I don't know what kind of minutes limit we're going to have on Alexander Walker here, but if he's not limited, he actually would be a pretty good option at 6,200. We know NAW can produce when he's on the floor. He's a high-usage player, a guy that can score, can kind of do a little bit of everything. Without Zion, without Ingram, there's definitely more opportunity available for NAW. So depending on what kind of minutes limit he's on, if he is limited, if he's not, I think at 6,200, NAW would be a very good option. Eric Bledsoe's been pretty good lately without Zion and Ingram. He only played 29 minutes last game, only had 26 DK points, but I still do have some interest in Bledsoe. Now at 6,100, I feel like there's better plays today than going to a guy like Bledsoe. He does feel priced appropriately now, but at least still viable, I think. And then you have like James Johnson, Najee Marshall. James Johnson at 5K continues to get around 30 minutes a night. He's close to a fantasy point per minute player. I think at 5K he is still viable for sure. Same goes for Najee Marshall. He was pretty bad that game against Charlotte, but did bounce back last game against Memphis. Played 31 minutes, had a double-double, had 38 Draftkings points. We should get around 30 minutes from both Marshall and James Johnson, so I think both of them do look like pretty good options. I like James Johnson a lot on Yahoo. He is very affordable there still, very cheap, only $14. I think him and Najee Marshall both look like really good value plays. Marshall's only $12, so I do like him as well. Marshall, Johnson, I like those guys a lot from this New Orleans team. Those probably will be my two favorite Pelicans. And then Lonzo in tournaments is okay. Eric Bledsoe in tournaments is okay. NAW, if he's not limited, I would like a good amount. But I think James Johnson and Najee Marshall, when you factor in price, those are my two favorite plays from this Pelicans team. But I think that does it for the Pelicans side. Now looking at Dallas here and talking about the Mavericks. So this is a back-to-back for the Mavs. I would assume that everyone plays here, but keep an eye on it. Luka, 10,800. I do have some interest in. This is a really good matchup against the Pelicans. It's a pace-up spot here for these Mavs guys. But this is, for a 6-game slate, we have a lot of good studs. We got Trae Young, we got KD, we got Tatum, we have Westbrook, obviously. I don't know if I'm going to be prioritizing Luka today, especially if Kemba Walker gets ruled out, if Kyrie gets ruled out, then Tatum and KD are going to look like two really good pay-up options. I don't think I'm going to get to Luka in my one lineup today, but it is a really good matchup against the Pelicans. Luka's been disappointing lately, but this is a get-right spot for him. If I was going to play anyone on Dallas, it would be Luka. I don't think I'm considering any other Pelicans, though, or any other Mavs on this slate, though, outside of Luka. Just don't really want to go to anyone else on this team now. Next game, we got Portland and Utah. On the Portland side today, there's not much I like on Portland. This game I don't have a ton of interest in. Portland's pretty much fully healthy here. Dame on this slate, I don't think I can go to. I prefer other studs. I'd rather play KD, Tatum, Trae Young. Just don't think I'm going to get to Dame. Nurkic at 7,200 is okay. He's probably going to play around 28 to 30 minutes. He's been losing minutes lately due to blowouts, but last game we did see him finally get, his full minutes, played 29 minutes last game. He should play around 28 to 30 minutes here. Tougher matchup against the Jazz, but we know Nurkic is a very productive player when he's on the floor. He's a guy that has 45, 50-point upside. If you force me to play someone on the Blazers, it probably would be Nurkic. But overall, this is not a team I have much interest in. And I think the same could be said for Utah. It's a good matchup for Utah here against Portland, but everyone kind of feels priced appropriately. Gobert's 8,400, Clarkson's 7,500, Bogdanovich is 6,900, Ingles is 6,500. Nobody stands out from Utah at their price points. Clarkson, Ingles, Bogdanovich, all these guys have upside without Conley and without Mitchell, but they definitely have been inconsistent. Joe Ingles has been terrible. He really hasn't been good at all. I've kind of been on Joe Ingles a little bit lately, but man, he's been bad. He hasn't put up more than 33 DK points in his 10 straight games. It's tough to roster Ingles at 6,500 until we actually see him have a good game. Bojan, he's scoring dependent, but clearly the opportunity's there for him. He's taking a ton of shots. If he knocks down his shots, he has upside, but at 6,900 feels priced appropriately, and same could be said for Jordan Clarkson, another guy that has upside, but at 7,500, he feels a little bit overpriced today. I mean, he had 53 DK points last game, but I don't think that's something we can expect to continue for Jordan Clarkson. He's going to go out there and take a ton of shots, but I don't know if I want to pay 7,500 for Jordan Clarkson. Overall, this Portland-Utah game I don't have much interest in at all. Everyone in this game just feels priced appropriately. There's really no standout plays here. So we can go ahead and talk about the last game of the night, talk about the Lakers and the Rockets. So on the Rockets side today, this is a team that, continues to remain shorthanded. They do have a little bit of additional bodies now. They do have this Cameron Oliver guy that they did sign, and he did play last game. He actually played 19 minutes, so he's in the rotation now, but Daniel House is questionable. Daquan Jeffries is questionable. Christian Wood did not play last game. He's questionable as well. If Christian Wood, Daquan Jeffries, and Daniel House are all out, that leaves Houston with, I believe, 9 bodies. They would have Olynyk, Martin Tate, Thomas, Brooks, Lamb, Augustine, Oliver. So, yeah, they would only have 8 bodies. So, if House, Jeffries, and Wood are all out, that only leaves Houston with 8 bodies. If all those guys play, though, then they would have 11 bodies. So, I don't want to go to anyone on Houston, really, if they're fully healthy. Like, if Wood plays, if Jeffries plays, if House plays, like, they just have enough bodies to where nobody would really stand out from Houston. But if Christian Wood's out, if Jeffries is out, if House is out, then a lot of these Portland guys start to look pretty, or Houston guys, a lot of these Houston guys do start to look pretty appealing. I think it would probably start with Kelly Olynyk and KJ Martin. Both of them definitely benefit if Christian Wood's out. Olynyk only played 29 minutes last game, but he was still very productive, had 43 DK points. As long as this game stays close, we should get around 30 to 32 minutes from Kelly Olynyk, and he's been super productive with Christian Wood off the floor. KJ Martin's he's playing massive minutes right now. I mean, he's played at least 39 minutes in 4 straight games. As long as Christian Wood remains out, I think we get 38 to 40 minutes from KJ Martin again. He's blowout proof as well. Like, he's going to play even if it's a blowout. So I do like KJ Martin a lot if Christian Wood sits. And then if these guards are out, if House is out, if Jeffries is out, that would free up more minutes for guys like Kyrie Thomas, Armani Brooks, DJ Augustine. DJ Augustine, I think at 3,900 looks like a really good value. He's played 25 and 29 minutes in 2 of their last 3 games. Only played 18 minutes in that game against Utah, but that was a back-to-back, so kind of makes sense that DJ Augustine didn't play much there. As long as this game does stay close, which is a big if, Augustine is a guy that will lose minutes if it's a blowout, but if it does stay close, I think we get around 26, 28 minutes from DJ Augustine, and at 3,900, he would actually be a really good value play, depending on how many active bodies Houston has. Like, if Houston only has 8 bodies today, like, that would make me like DJ Augustine a lot. So he's someone I'm going to be looking to for value. Kyrie Thomas has been super productive in the 3 games he's been with Houston. He's played 23, 34, and 29 minutes off the bench, and he's put up 30, 52, and 31 DK points. At his DK price, I'm probably only going to go to him if Houston only has 8 bodies, but if they're if they have 11 or 10 bodies today, like, I'm not going to play Kyrie Thomas at 5,600. But on Yahoo, I think regardless, Kyrie Thomas looks like a really good value on Yahoo. He was minimum salary last slate, and he's minimum salary once again. They have not yet adjusted his price. Way too cheap for Kyrie Thomas, especially if Houston only has 8 bodies. I mean, Kyrie Thomas is a lock. He's a lock for me on Yahoo. But if they have 10, 11 bodies, that makes it a little bit trickier. But I think it does seem pretty clear that they do want to play Kyrie Thomas minutes. I mean, he's played at least 22 minutes in every game he's been with Houston so far. I think if they only have 8 bodies, then we probably get like 33, 34 minutes from Kyrie Thomas. If they have like 10 or 11 bodies, he probably still plays like 24, 25 minutes. Given he's been about a fantasy point per minute player, that would still make him a really good value at minimum salary on Yahoo. So it's tough to really break down Houston right now until we know who's in, who's out. But if they only have 8 bodies, if Wood's out, if Jeffries is out, if Daniel House is out, I'm for sure going to be looking to guys like Kelly Olynyk, KJ Martin, Jayshawn Tate, Kyrie Thomas, especially on Yahoo, but even on DK. Anthony Lamb probably not going to go to, though. Only way I would consider him is if they only have 8 bodies. Same with Armani Brooks. Armani Brooks has been priced up enough to where I would probably only consider him if Houston, only has 8 healthy players. And then Cameron Oliver, he only played 19 minutes last game, but again, if they only have 8 players available, he's minimum salary $3K. He probably would get around like 22, 24 minutes. He'd be a viable option for $3K, but that really does it for Houston. Really, we just got to wait and see on Wood, Jeffries, House. We got to wait and see if they play, because if they're all out, I mean, like I said, that leaves Houston with Olynyk, Martin, Tate, Thomas, Brooks, Lamb, Augustine, and then Oliver. That would leave them with 8 bodies if House, Jeffries, and Wood are all out. So that does it for Houston. Now on the Lakers side, not as much to talk about here. This is a back-to-back for the Lakers, but given the Lakers are fighting for playoff position right now, I assume that everyone's going to play even on the back-to-back. LeBron, though, was out on Tuesday, but they've already come out and said that he is most likely going to play here Wednesday. Right here it says he's likely to return Wednesday against Houston. So with LeBron expected to play, I mean, that takes me off of Kuzma, Caruso, THT. That basically takes me off of everyone. Anthony Davis, I think, could still be viable. With LeBron in now, that definitely hurts Anthony Davis a little bit, but he still obviously has a ton of upside, and I think you're going to get massive minutes for AD and LeBron just because, the Lakers do need to be winning these games right now. Only worry is that, Houston is terrible. They're going to get blown out a lot. They might get blown out here. But if AD does play his full minutes, he has plenty of upside. I think he looks really good on Yahoo. He still remains too cheap there, $42. I like AD a lot on Yahoo. I'd be more likely to play him there than on DK. But if LeBron plays today, I don't think there's really any standout plays from the Lakers outside of maybe AD on Yahoo. So that does it for this Lakers team, and that does it for all 6 games on Wednesday slate. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Appreciate you watching as always. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below and hit that subscribe button as well. Also, be sure to click the notification bell so that way you get notified every time I upload, and you also do get notified every time I live stream. Once again, guys, I should be live for Wednesday slate around 5 or 4:30 Eastern time. So yeah, if you want to tune in, come hang out. We'll be sure to talk through everything again, break down the slate once again. I just realized that I forgot to put in a 5th core play, so let me do that real quick. I was going to put DJ Augustine in for value, 3,900. I mentioned him. I totally forgot to put him into the core, but yeah, this is the early core for Draftkings. These are some guys I like. So yeah, that does it for this slate, guys. Appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed. Be sure to tune into the live stream Wednesday afternoon. Hope to see you guys then. Best of luck. We'll see you in the live stream. Good luck tonight, guys. Peace.